so I know a lot of you out there are like, oh my god, this title, I'm so totally gonna give it a dislike. How about you watch the video before you actually, hit that dislike? Because, what if I say something actually good? But no, seriously though, is it time to cancel Gotham? Because one, I just tweeted about this literally. I hate that this show is on Thursday. I don't know about you guys, but I seriously hate that it's on Thursday now. Because one, I stream on freaking Friday nights, so I have to wake up really early to edit these videos and make these videos, and then I have to go to work, and then I gotta come home and stream for like 5 hours, and I just hate that this show is on Thursdays now. But that's not really the real reason why I think they should cancel Gotham, or not that they should cancel Gotham, but that maybe it's time to cancel Gotham. It was this episode that I think might have just crossed the line and it might have just changed everything. And Gotham has done a lot of things, and I'm talking about a lot of things that are different from the comic books, and this is its own universe and all of that jazz. And some of the things I can totally get behind. I like the Penguin stuff, I like the Riddler stuff. There's, everything that's going on, but there is a fine line of like, this is our universe, we're gonna do it our way. And there's some things you just shouldn't change. Like one, Harley Quinn's origin, which totally seemed like they were about to do, but then they were like, nah, we're not going to bring her into this at all. Good on you. They decided not to mess with that because it's not something that should change. Number two, you don't mess with the Joker's origin, or you don't at least make Joker become a copy of somebody else, which it seems like Gotham wants to do, because I didn't make a video on it because I've said this a million trillion times, is that Gotham doesn't know what it wants to do with Jerome, and they're still saying that he's not the Joker and that he's actually going to be somebody that puts like the things in motion for the next Joker, which, hello, Gotham producer people, if you do that, you're totally undermining the Joker's character, and you know nothing about the damn character, because the Joker would never copy anybody. Why would he do a lot of the same shit that Jerome has done? Number three, and the biggest thing that they should never do that they did on this episode, was that Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, actually killed somebody. And before you come up in here and you're like, well, technically, Batman has killed a lot of people. If you actually go back to freaking 1939, he actually used to kill people right at the start, and he actually used to use a gun. I don't want to hear any of that, because a lot of that stuff has been retconned. A lot of that stuff has been changed. It's not really part of continuity anymore. Nowadays, freaking people know that Batman doesn't use guns and Batman doesn't kill. Like, those are two of his biggest things, and those are like two more of his more admirable qualities in the character. And Gotham just went and had Bruce kill somebody. Now, for those of you out there that are like, oh, well, yeah, I hate this, blah, blah. At the end of this video, I'll give you a little bit of insight to maybe why you don't have to hate this show, and maybe why it's not so bad that he killed. But in my eyes, he legitimately killed. Even with the explanation I'm going to give you guys, he still killed. But, yeah, so I don't know. Is it time to actually cancel Gotham? Because, one, I hate it's on Thursdays. Again, I really hate that it's on Thursdays. And two, they just changed Batman's whole origin. Also, Arrow totally just name-dropped Bruce Wayne. So, is the CW got, like, some knowledge that, you know, Gotham's not going to make it past season 4, which I totally said it's not. And, you know, maybe they're going to bring the Batman into that universe over there, which would be kind of badass, I'm not going to lie. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the other things, which there's only 2 other things that happened in this episode that we're going to talk about, because it was majority all freaking Batman, or not Batman, Bruce and Roz. And then there was freaking the other things that happened, which were the Grundy, Riddler, and the mystery person at the end, and then freaking Penguin and Sophia, which is exactly what we're going to talk about right now. I don't like where this is going with Sophia and Penguin. I'm just going to throw that out there. I like their characters, kind of. Not too big on Sophia's acting. Crystal's acting is what I should say. But their storyline, I don't like what's happening here, because it's clearly... We're clearly seeing what Sophia's trying to do to Penguin. She's trying to be that mother figure, or the new woman in his life, and she's gonna try to get in close that way and strike and take him out of power that way. You saw that she tried to find she found his mother's recipe. She's trying to be that person there to actually care for him. All of that jazz. That is what's happening with Penguin right now. And I don't like this, not because it's not a smart move by her, but because this has been done before. This is what Fish Mooney did to Falcone when Falcone had that young girl that came into his life that he was all like, oh yeah, you're nice, blah, blah. And then he totally had to kill her because she found out that she was a spy and all that shit. So, yeah, I just don't like that we're getting the same storyline here. And a lot of people are like, oh, you always talking crap about The Flash. No, I talk crap about any show that uses the same kind of storylines over and over and over. And Gotham's starting to do that right here. It's just in reverse. Now, Falcone is the one using that kind of idea against Penguin. Now, one thing that can turn around and save this storyline is if Penguin realizes that it's exactly what Sophia is doing because he remembers Fish did it, or if Sophia just flat out and comes out and says, she's like, oh, did you like this? Did I trick you, Oswald? I got this idea from my father when Fish sent so-and-so to come try to infiltrate our house. That would make some sense at the end of it. Now, I will say that Gotham did do a little switcheroony. They did seem like it looked like Sophia was going to try to kill Penguin in this restaurant, which I think was actually the same exact restaurant or the same setting when he actually turned all the guns on Maroni, or was it Falcone? I think he turned all the guns on Maroni. Remember when they were eating and then everybody got up and had guns out on everybody? I felt like that was going to happen again, but Penguin made him known. He was like, oh, I actually did this to somebody else. But that would have killed Sophia right away because he would have been like, we're not going to do this, blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was kind of cool because they switcheroonied it and they were just like, oh yeah, burp, burp again. They made it seem like she had something up her sleeve with that old lady with the knives, but it's actually she was just a really good chef apparently. So that was basically it for Sophia and Penguin. Like, it's just gonna be like she's trying to be the new woman in his life. So let's go ahead and move on to Ed, Grundy, and Lee, who is basically just becoming her character from Deadpool, working in a bar, long black hair. Well, she had short black hair in Deadpool. But yeah, so she's working in a bar now to be, I guess, hidden from the world or to pay for what she did during the whole craziness of season 3. So yeah, that explains why they're working together. We have Ed that's not smart anymore. We have Grundy, Butch, who doesn't remember, anything, but he feels that, Ed knows everything about him, so he wants to hang around him. And now Lee is going to recognize both of them and maybe try to help them, and they're going to become some kind of weird, tag team of, people. First, let's talk about Grundy. I really enjoyed how he was made. I heard about this during the summer, that they were actually going to throw his body in like a swamp, and that's how he was going to become Grundy. Totally down with that. The nursery rhyme thing was a good touch. I just didn't like the way it sounded, especially with the guys singing it first. They were like, I wish it would have been a little bit more like toony instead of just that little stupid little thing. And then it says Solomon Grundy. Like, I wish there would have been something better. And also, sometimes I forget, like, what era is this for Gotham? I know it's supposed to be like the 80s or whatever, but then we saw the episode with Mad Hatter, and he had a freaking cell phone. It's like, sometimes I get thrown off on what year this actually is, because those dudes look like they were from the 50s, and I was just like, what? So I get thrown off on what era Gotham is trying to be in sometimes. It just feels like every part of the town is a different, like, era. It's weird. Like, you go to, like, the punk area, and everybody's, like, looks like they're from the 80s, or, like, oh, yeah, it's, like, punk style. Like, it's just really, really weird in Gotham sometimes. Anyways, I did like Grundy's performance, and it kind of threw me off. I was like, man, I don't know if anybody could, like, actually play Grundy with it actually not being weird, is what I should say. Because although Drew Powell is, like, a pretty big guy and he, like, muscled up for this, it still just looks really weird when he's just, like, body painted and stuff. And he is just body painted. I figured if they went in there with prosthetics and all that kind of stuff, you could actually have a live action Grundy just be like this big dude. But I think if you ever wanted to get the real Grundy, you're probably going to have to go CGI because Grundy is a lot like the Hulk. So I don't know if you could actually, if you want a solid one, I think you are going to have to go with CGI, unfortunately. Either way, though, I do like this version of Grundy. It was cool. He is playing on like the slow talking, like kind of, he understands stuff, but he just doesn't know who he is and he wants to figure out who he is. And that's why he like comes across Riddler. And once Riddler's like, Butch, and then Grundy's all like, oh, you know Grundy? Like, I really enjoyed that whole thing. I enjoyed their friendship. It looks like it's going to be a fun, you know, ragtag kind of like friendship throughout the season. And I hope it doesn't get burnt out too quickly. But we'll see what happens with him and Lee. It looks like, you know, Riddler's going to try to use Grundy to gain some money. For some reason, he thinks that's going to make him smart again. And we'll see what happens. I do think Lee is going to be the one to shine some light on the friendship or what's going on in the world between them. And I know a lot of people are like, no, that's not in her forte, but I think it might be like, I don't know, I think she's actually going to help out Grundy and Riddler try to get their memories back. Maybe not so much Grundy, but she's going to try to help Riddler. And that way, you know, maybe she'll be bad, maybe she'll be good. We'll figure out what's going to happen. But we finally know how that whole team's going to come together. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And let's just go ahead and move on to the last part of this episode. Because like I said, not much happened in this. It was like broken down to 3 sections. The episode was okay in my opinion. But we got to see, or we got to find out that Bruce was going to try to kill Ra's al Ghul because he thinks the knife is what will kill Ra's and actually set him free. And, you know, so we have all that going on. And then, you know, Gordon and Alfred are still having their little spats of, like, blah, blah, blah. Side note, can we get some more Selena Kyle in here, please? Like, because, man, I'm missing her already. We have Gordon and Alfred having their little spats. And then, of course, Bruce is like, I'm going to go do my own thing. He breaks into Blackgate, and he's going to try to kill Ra's al Ghul. Turns into this whole thing, of course. Ra's has actually replace the guards with, I'm assuming, League of Assassins people, but they are the worst League of Assassins people ever because they can't even kill Alfred or Gordon, so they are very terrible, probably just like new recruits or something, whatever. All the people that were in Blackgate that Ra's put in there were terrible. And then we see that Bruce is going to kill him, and then he's like, nah, I'm not going to kill you. And then Ra's is just like, oh, you're pathetic, and he throws him down to the bottom. They go into the dungeon, and he says some stuff to piss him off, and we see Bruce actually kill Ra's, and Ra's turns into this like pile of dust and is released from his death. And then everybody's like, you know, Gordon's all like, oh man, I didn't see nothing, blah, blah, blah. Basically, Bruce is scot-free. We see at the end of it that Bruce is like, oh, I can't be Batman, or I can't be this person anymore. Alfred takes that from me. He's like, when you're ready, we'll get back into it. Blah, 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 blah. Main thing is that Bruce killed somebody. And yes, it could have been somebody that's alive for 20,000 years, and that somebody said that they were going to kill somebody. The point is, Bruce stabbed somebody, killed them, and it doesn't matter. Like, that is the biggest thing. Batman would not do that. I do want to just say, willingly, Batman wouldn't do that. If he's like brain controlled or something, that's a very possibility, and I believe that has happened in the comic books before. But what I'm just saying is, Batman willingly would not kill somebody, and they just ruined Bruce's character. And I know they're probably going to use it like, oh, he's going to come back from this, and he's going to understand that taking a life isn't blah, blah. He did that with Alfred. Just throwing that out there. That one was okay, because the Lazarus pit was right there. Alfred didn't technically, well, I think he did die, but, you know, he didn't, like, technically, like, die and, like, turn into dust or whatever, get buried, have a funeral, all that kind of jazz. He came back immediately because Ra's was all like, use the waters, Bruce. And, yeah, but this time, Homeboy turned to dust. He's dead. I was going to say he ain't coming back, but that's where we're coming back to what I'm going to talk about and why it might be okay, which I totally 100% billion times a billion don't think it's okay that he killed Ra's. But remember that stupid little scene that was super awkward and I hated it with Ra's and Barbara, and he puts his hand on the thing and he like gives her some power? 100% think that Ra's gave his like self or his being to Barbara somehow, because he told her that she would get like, she would have everything she wanted, or she would, like, have some kind of power or something that would change her life. What if he just kind of put his personality into her somehow, and that's eventually going to come out in Barbara, and she's going to be this badass person that happens later. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Juice, what? That is so weird and so stupid that freaking Raish would put himself inside Barbara. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, let me hit you with some freaking knowledge, son. Raish Al Ghul has done this before. Remember a couple episodes ago in a video I said that Raish has made out with Bruce or kissed Bruce? Well, it wasn't Raish in his physical body. It was Raish in Talia Al Ghul's body. That's right. He freaking put himself in his daughter's body so he could still try to steal Bruce's body and continue taking over the world. Yeah, that was in a freaking episode, son. I was gonna say it happened in the Batman animated series, but I believe it actually happened in a flashback episode in Batman Beyond, and that is where I freaking think this could be going. Raish could have put his spirit or his, like, whatever being inside Barbara, and somehow he's trying to trick the whole, like, dying with the dagger thing. He wants to be released, but he's actually just tricking the whole thing, and his being is going to be in Barbara, and then somehow he's going to come back better than ever, away from the curse, and he's going to be able to maybe live forever and, like, I don't know, and take over the world like he wanted to. Because there's no way that this is the end of Raish Al Ghul. He is the main villain of this season. So that is what I think is going to happen. That is my theory. I want to know what your theory is in the comment sections down below. Guys and gals, don't forget, if you ever want to support this channel, you can check out the Patreon like these awesome people did, or you can do the OG thing and give this video a thumbs up and share it with all of your Gotham buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, I am your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had a little of juice? See you guys next time. Bye!